Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now. For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. Racing, music, camping, it all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Darlington Hill and Wright under the lights tonight. 40 weeks Capri battling for their might. Chad Frank and Phil going Chad wide, forcing a spin, but still has pride. Racing at Darlington Hill and Wright, the competition's fierce. Under the night, 40 weeks Capri, fighting for the win. Chad Frank and Phil causing a spin, the engines roar, the tires squeal as they race with pure zeal. Darlington Hill, the track is alive, the adrenaline pumping as they strive. Racing at dawn, racing a spin. To Darlington Hill and Wright, track is alive. The adrenaline pumping as they strive. Racing at Darlington Hill and Wright, competition fierce under the knife. Racing at Darlington Hill and Wright, the competition's fierce under the night. 40 weeks Capri, fighting for the win. Chad Frank and Phil forcing a spin, tonight's race, one to remember as they battle through a fender bender. Darlington Hill and Wright, the place to be for thrilling racing for all to see.
We are live here at Darlington for tonight's Darlington 150. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me up here in the booth is Chris Wright. Chris, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready to see one of the better tracks on the sim. Going to see a lot of great racing tonight. Can't wait to see what's going to happen here in this race.
It definitely should be a good one here tonight. Taking a quick look at how we're going to line things up this evening. 110 laps, halfway at the end of lap 55, so some bonus points to be offered there, and just 4 sets of tires available. Chris, I know you had a chance to talk to some of these drivers a little bit earlier on. What's the feel here? How are these drivers feeling heading into this one?
Well, they're feeling like there's a real lack of grip, talking about how loose it is, how hard it's going to be not to wreck and to stay out of the wall. I think everything I'm hearing makes me believe it's going to be a pretty good race, but the drivers are not happy with the lack of grip out here tonight.
And speaking of the drivers, here's your starting grid tonight. It's a speed factor front row with Alex McCullum and Chase Cabry leading us to green. Nick Massey, Ethan Burrell make up row number 2. John Cutlip, Gavin Hibbs in row 3. Cole Cabry and Ethan Stanley there in row 4 with Matthew Weeks and David Tucker rounding out the top 10. Tyler Fody, Tommy Ryan make up row number 6. Row 7, Leighton Norgard and Scott Crumple, Jesse Racimus and Tate Lytle in row number 8. Row 9, Chad Frankenfield, Jeff Ryan with row 10 being Josh Robin and Gerald Campbell. Chris, why don't you take us through the rest of the field?
Well, you said Josh Robin, Gerald Campbell, they're running out the top 20. We got
Yes, sir.
21st out here is Michael Hosick, David Carpenter back there, Vince Isabella starting back there in 23rd. Johnny Thomas way back in 24th. I actually talked to him after his qualifying run. I believe he had some issues with the wall. Jay Canor back there in 25th. And we got Kyle Henshaw, Ty McIntosh, Connor Thompson, and Hunter Smith running out the field. Seth Rawls is back there, as is Jaden Racimus, and Rory Collins did not. All those guys did not make a lap. And I'm picking Nick Massey for the win.
And Nick Massey, of course, your pick as always. No variation from week to week for Chris Wright. First, I just want to shout out Track Cams for Gourmet, Track Cams 22, for providing us with these great angles here tonight as we do get set to go green. Alex McCollum, the control car on the inside. Chase Cabry up top, and my pick to get the win tonight is the 98 of Cole Cabry here. Chris Wright, let's get set to go green this time. Barty, the flagman's ready. We're ready. Let's go racing.
Go racing. We are dead even down into the first turn.
McCullum gonna clear ahead of Chase Cabery there. Just behind is where we see side by side Nick Massey, Ethan Burrell. As we got one in the wall already, Gavin Hibbs in the 95. He's gonna run into some early drama here today. Looks like he's gonna be able to gather it up late. Norgard Lytle making contact. Are we gonna keep it clean? I don't know about that. Chad Frankenfield coming into the picture, and he doesn't like to stay in line for too long whatsoever. As Lytle gonna come up and give a shot here to Gavin Hibbs, something to keep an eye on. Tate Lytle not pleased. He's going to put Hibbs in the wall. So Lytle causing some issues on the racetrack right now here, Chris, right?
Yeah, Tate not happy with the way this thing started, and we got fireworks right out of the gate.
Not sure what that was. Kind of a terrible move by a champion here in Elite, putting someone up in the wall. Just a little bit of a mistake there by Gavin Hibbs, leading to some unnecessary retaliation, which I guess isn't even really retaliation because there was nothing that led to that, but it is what it is. We will continue on. Gavin Hibbs gonna fall all the way to the rear and actually take it pit side, I do believe this time, from the last position on the racetrack. But out front it is Alex McCullum by a margin ahead of Chase Cabery. Cabery has Nick Massey, Ethan Burrell, and Cole Cabery just behind him here. That's Chase in position number 2, Cole back there in that 5th spot as Gavin Hibbs does make his way to pit road.
Yeah, and one thing here, our leader is driving away. You have to wonder if he's burning his stuff up there or is he getting out there and being able to take care of it. We never can tell here. Some guys can make really good speed while they're saving their tires, and other guys are just burning them off. So we will find out here in 10 or 15 laps if it stays green exactly where Alex lies in that.
We'll definitely keep our eyes on that, Chris, right? As we're watching a little bit further back in the field. Gavin Hibbs still on pit road. We see Johnny Thomas now. He's worked his way up a handful of spots so far, currently scored ahead of Michael Hostek here on lap number 5. This is back around 22nd on the racetrack, so still a very, very long way to go in this one. And quickly glancing up at the front, there's Alex McCullum. And this is the gap back to his teammates, so rather large between McCullum and Chase Cabery there for 1st and 2nd on the racetrack. Chris Wright, Nick Massey holding steady in that 3rd spot.
Yeah, and that's my pick, Nick Massey. I talked to him before the race. He asked if I was going to pick him. I told him, yeah, he'd like for me to stop, but told him if he wants me to stop, he'll have to win a race or retire. Till then, we're not stopping.
I mean, at this point, to be fair, I don't think anyone else is going to win in this series aside from one of these drivers for speed factor. Ever since they've come in, it's pretty much been on lock for them. Alex McCullum substantially quicker than anybody else here right now. Chase Cabery, another driver that seemed to have just dominated since arriving here in Elite. So Nick Massey, Ethan Burrell, and others most likely racing for the tail end of the podium at this point with the top 2 steps. I'm gonna say the top two steps are on lock for speed factor.
Well, what about Cole back there in 6th place? He's just sitting there as well. He's got to have some of the speed.
He's going to work his way up. He's going to work his way up, absolutely. I think he's still one of the quicker cars out here. He's been very good so far. Obviously, still really early, but I would honestly expect the speed factor team just to run away with this one and likely run away with the rest of the season, just with the way that it's gone so far with them here in not just this series, but every series that they've been a part of. As we do have the double Ethan side by side. Burrell up top, Stanley down there on the inside.
Now, Stanley's a guy that he typically drives the tires off of it. We see it at a lot of places where he struggles on the long run. So I am not surprised to see him moving forward right now in the short run. We'll have to see how that shakes out here in about 10 or 15 as well.
Watching another battle starting to brew here. Nick Massey gonna temporarily take a look to the outside of Chase Cabery. He's likely saving a little bit at this point. The 39 car is, and eventually he'll just spread his wings a little bit and pull away from the drivers such as Nick Massey just behind him here. Just looking through the field, biggest mover so far, Vincent Isabella. He's up 6 spots on the day, started 23rd, currently scored in 17th as he works his way way down the back straightaway. Has a rather large bubble between himself and a Leighton Norgard out front, and Josh Robin to the rear of that machine. So slow and steady, nice and clean. That's going to be the key to today for drivers such as Vincent Isabella here, as this one does go on. Watching Nick Massey. He's got Ethan Stanley closing in. Matthew Weeks. Try to find him here. There he is. Got a little piece of the outside wall falling back on the inside. There goes Ryan, Fody, and Crump, as Crump going to get all over the rear end of the Tommy Ryan machine here.
I'll tell you right now, this race is in a unique spot where the guys that use their stuff up are starting to feel it, but they're still able to hold on. And the guys that are saved are starting to make some ground up. And now, right now, everybody's single file. But we're about ready to see some moving, I think. We're going to see some guys moving forward and some guys start falling back right here. That's, we're about 12 laps on the tires right now.
Now you see Tate Lytle dipping his nose out a little bit there. We've seen some aggression out of the 56 already here today. Basically, we just went in and sent the 95 up back into the wall after a little bit of contact earlier due to a simple mistake there by Gavin Hibbs. We'll see if he uses the same aggression to move by his teammate Weeks in the 11 as they both go into the outside wall. So Tate, if he does the same as he did with Hibbs, expect Weeks to get hooked here in a second.
Yeah, and we've seen Tate be pretty aggressive here early, trying to make his way through the field. So we'll see how this shakes out here. They got Scott right there. Matthew Weeks is a teammate, so I imagine he'll be pretty patient with Weeks. Chad Frankenfield's right in there as well. We know Chad is Captain Aggressive out here on the racetrack, so we'll see what he's got in store. Just really hard to pass right now.
Yeah, what I've understood basically all day here today, we've heard comments from drivers earlier on, even prior to entering tonight's race server, that the setup they were given to race with here tonight was just very, very below average, below par.
Lytle's in the wall.
Yeah, Lytle in the wall here towards the rear. He's going to be okay watching the battle here among the Ethans. But we've heard that the setup is just absolute trash here tonight for these guys, Chris. That's the comments we've heard from numerous drivers. You mentioned it as well. We've heard it from many, many teams that it's just not something that they're comfortable racing with tonight. So we'll see how this one develops as the day goes on.
Yeah, but you almost want a setup that's super loose around here because it's going to tighten up. Like typically this place just gets super tight and it takes all the skill out of driving the racetrack. So right now, it's all about getting the throttle down, getting the power down. Tonight we're going to see who can manage to keep their rear tires on the car without blowing them off and manage to get the right front on at the same time, which is very hard to do. And just like we talked about a little bit ago, Ethan Stanley backing up. So about 15 laps he got out of those tires. And now he's struggling.
Oh,
and
they're in
he's
the
going to be up in the wall.
Stanley and Cole Cabrey going to come together up into the outside wall. As you see Cabrey under fire there. Oh, this could get interesting back here. Scott Crump, Matthew Weeks, Tate Lytle. Oh, I believe that was Tommy Ryan that just got into the outside wall. Connor Thompson has crashed in the rear. As we quickly just hop on board with him, he's going to be okay. Tow it back to the pits, Chris, but some drama throughout the midfield.
Yeah, I think, what happened with Ethan Stanley down in the one, you probably concede that spot. That guy's got you almost clear. You don't hang on somebody's right rear into turn one because of that right there. And then down into three, maybe some patience out of some of these guys who didn't qualify as good. Like Scott Crump there, who just kind of threw it in middle three. I don't know. You're not going to get yourself to the front if you tear your race car up.
Chris, let's take a look back, see what just happened to Connor Thompson moments ago. We did stay green. Wondering if it was just a solo spin. Looks like he just pulls down and comes to a stop. Caution's out. Ooh, it involves Tommy Ryan. He was around the aggressive
Chad Frankenfield
area of the racetrack, as you shout Chad Frankenfield here. I'm assuming Chad was involved.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look from up above here, folks. We'll back that one up once again. Leighton Norgard going to get involved as well. Ooh, this is tough to tell. Let's back it up a little bit further. Watching the 66 of Ryan on the inside, the 15 of Frankenfield up top. Ryan going to go down to the white line here. Let's see if he comes back up. He does slide back up the racetrack. Yeah, I'm gonna say the 66 slid up and ended up hooking himself across the nose of Frankenfield. I don't know what you think, Chris, but that's what I see right there.
Well, I just think,
which was pretty clear that was the case, but it's your call.
I just think, I think I'm gonna call it a racing deal. Obviously, it's race control, because he was almost clear and he didn't really try to slide up. They just kind of came together.
But
it's just entering turn one.
My argument to that is you still have to control your race car. You can not mean to slide up, but if you still slide up 2 lanes across someone's nose, that falls on you. But your call anyway, so you say racing deal. That's what we're going to go with. We're going to step away. We'll be right back in just a brief moment's time. 21 laps down, 89 to go.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now. For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. Racing, music, camping, it all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And we are back here. Lights are off on the pace car. Chris Wright, looks like Josh Robin and Gerald Campbell going to lead us to the green flag. Do they make it a handful of laps up here without getting moved out of the way by the quicker traffic behind? I think that's the big question right now.
Well, it is going to be very interesting because it's going to be, they're on about 20 lap old tires, restarting in front of everybody, and there's 2 of them, so it's going to be in both rows. It's going to be really hard to get the power down. But if they can get the power down, I don't think it'll be terrible. They'll be a little bit slower, obviously, but the most important thing is going to be getting all the way through 4th gear. This is where we see restart crashes. Like, that's one thing, if I'm a driver right now and I'm starting in row 4, 5, 6 on back, I'm thinking about how often we see restart crashes because of wheel spin. I'm giving myself a little bit extra room.
Well, we'll see how it goes here. Of course, we've seen some aggression through the field already. As we do get set to go green, pace cars off. We are back underway. Josh Robin already under fire here from Alex McCullum. There goes McCullum down to the inside. As Chase Cabery going to do a little bit of a slider there on Gerald Campbell as well. Cole Cabery just behind him. as we continue to watch out front. Nearly contact there between Robin
Well, 4
and...
wide is never going to work here, boys.
There we go. Well, they're only 3, so it's okay. It's Cole Cabry up top, Tyler Fody down on the bottom, Ethan Burrell there as well. Gerald Campbell going to get sliced and diced all the way back towards the rear end of this top 10. Fody going to jump down to the inside. That was Tooker up top. There's Cutlip, Ethan Stanley, Tate Lytle. Oh, is John Cutlip going to get loose, come down into Ethan Stanley, send him for a bit of a ride. Gerald going to continue his descent through the field. Cutlip going to fall back as well, but we'll stay under the green flag here. It's Alex McCollum and Chase Cabry back where we knew they'd be, up at the front of the pack here today. Nick Massey third, and Cole Cabry up to fourth. Ethan Burrell fifth, Josh Robin, David Tooker there as Robin falls back. Burrell and Tooker going to go by. Here comes Fody as well. Tate Lytle behind him, going to make that move with help from Vincent Isabella. Isabella having a good run here, Chris.
Yeah, Vince had to start back there in the field too, being really aggressive. Looked like Tate was being a little bit aggressive, trying to throw the block as well. Tate stepped up his aggression tonight for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about that in the league race recently. A couple drivers seem to be a bit more aggressive than they have in the past, and some of that could be ego. Some of that could just be they feel like they're a bit higher level than some of the other drivers in the field. Not saying that's Tate, not saying that's anyone else, but we've definitely seen that this season, and that's a big cause of a lot of the drama and issues we've had on the racetrack this season is drivers just being too aggressive.
And I'll say this, the best version of Tate Lytle is the one that's conservative, the one that's smart, the one that makes, uses patience. That's when Tate was winning all those championships, all those races. So, I don't know. If that's Tate that you're referencing, he might want to find his way back to where he was. But who knows? It's working out for him tonight. So
Battle
far.
for the lead, though, here, Chris. Alex McCullum on the high side. Chase Cabry looks down to the inside. Cabry going to go to the race lead. Nick Massey going to hold steady in third with Cole Cabry and Ethan Burrell behind him. Just a quick note here, Joe Campbell has dropped all the way to 26th on the racetrack, and Josh Robin in the 8 car has dropped to 21st. So staying out on old tires did not pay off whatsoever here on this latest restart.
Yeah, and I think they knew that. They knew that wasn't going to work as far as keeping the track position. But with only 3 sets laying in the pits, they did not want to take some at lap 20. And then if we catch a caution in the next 5 or 10, are you going to come and get them again? They'll be able to get them. Everybody else might not.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see how that works out. We see a little bit of a battle here as Vincent Isabella taking a look to the outside of Tate Lytle. Not going to be able to make the move here, so he does stay in line in position number 9. But, I mean, he is one of the biggest movers of the day by far, up 14 positions, but there's a couple guys that have actually gained a few more spots than him. Hunter Smith up 15 positions, started 29th, currently scored in 14th, and one spot ahead of him is the driver that started 30th here tonight, Seth Rawls, currently scored in 13th, so plus 17 on the day for the driver of the number 25 Shift Esports Ford Mustang.
Yeah, and those are some guys we thought we'd see move forward. When we looked at the running order, we figured there'd be some guys, and you could pick them out that would probably move forward. So just being smart, being a patient, as Hunter Smith there gets into the wall there right in the middle of 1 and 2. It's going to bring the 75 right back to him.
Ty McIntosh, he's under fire here from John Cutlip and Ethan Stanley. Both of those drivers, of course, we saw have some issues on the previous restart. Stanley seems to be struggling, Chris, and apparently I am too, with the handling of that race car as he takes a look here at the John Cutlip 28. Little interesting seeing Cutlip behind the wheel of a Dollar General machine tonight. Not the usual colors for him. Bright yellow, and sometimes bright yellow is not very helpful on a race car. It leads to some bad luck in the caution. See, ooh, did someone's trunk just fall off, or was I just seeing things?
I'm not sure, but you talked about Ethan Stanley. Well, remember, he basically crashed in the turn one, and that just wasn't a caution. Him and Cole. I'm really surprised at the speed that Cole's got in his car still.
Well, Stanley's a little bit further back. Yes, he had the incident with Cole Cabery not long ago, but he also had the incident with John Cutlip, where Cutlip seemed to have gotten a little bit loose, came down into the side of the Ethan Stanley machine and sent both of those drivers back. So I don't know that the contact with Cole Cabery really was anything too substantial, Chris, as of course they both have been able to continue on, but the second impact that Stanley had with the John Cutlip machine is the one that hurt him most. Watching the closest battle on the racetrack here, it is Jeff Ryan and Johnny Thomas, as Ryan's going to get by for 23rd and start pulling away from Johnny Thomas just a little bit here. Another battle brewing here. This is a gaggle of race cars. It is Scott Crump, Vincent Isabella, and Jesse Racimas battling 9th, 10th, and 11th as Racimas makes a move really tight. Vincent Isabella gonna have a big wiggle. Great job by Seth Rawls getting by without any sort of contact there. Wow.
That was a big save for Vince there to get that sideways, catch the car in that fast of a corner. Robert, turn 1 and 2 down here at Darlington, it takes a lot of commitment in the throttle to get through there. And so to make that save is pretty good piece of driving.
You mentioned turn 1 and 2 here. You're basically turning the race car with the throttle pedal, not as much the steering wheel. It's all really about your throttle input, helping carry you through, helping rotate the race car. Speaking of rotate, Vince's car seems to be almost over rotating on exit just a little bit, getting up into that outside wall once again. So some contact for him as Ethan Stanley and Hunter Smith are side by side. That's Smith up top, Stanley on the inside, Cutlip just behind as this gaggle of race cars works their way down the front straightaway. Stanley to the inside of Isabella, Smith into the rear end of Vincent Isabella's. John Cutlip takes a little peek down to the apron now. Definitely not something that really comes into play too much here at Darlington, as this racetrack does not offer that luxury of being able to drop down to the inside. Ethan Stanley gives out a little bit of a blink there, so that's something he's going to have to keep an eye on throughout, as I believe Michael Hossack just got a piece of the outside wall, was able to continue charging forward here. But this is a very, very tough racetrack, Chris Wright. And especially if you cook those tires too early, it can really lead to utter chaos for you, as Vincent Isabella slipping and sliding once again. So he is absolutely having a miserable time right now as Cutlip takes a look to the inside.
Yeah, if somebody out there has got Vince's ear, I would be telling him, hey, just calm down and give me 75% for about 3 laps and let these tires get cooled back off. Because once you get a big slide like that, you've overheated the right rear tire. So you've got to let that cool back down a little bit. And the only way you're going to do that is to use a little bit less throttle through the corner, off the corner, just really drive off straight and kind of slow your pace down for a couple laps.
Yeah, you're definitely right on that. It might take a little bit of adjusting of the pace here to solidify that race car again, maybe cool those tire temperatures down. And no, he's struggling right now, trying to hold these guys off. Ty McIntosh to the inside. Michael Hossack going to come through as well momentarily. And Jake Connor just behind these guys. I believe Leighton Norgard within reach also. So Vincent Isabella, he's absolutely pushing it, gets into the outside wall again. So got to be really careful, Chris, that he's just not overusing this race car and really taking absolutely everything out of it. There's a long way to go, just about a third of the way through the event. So we are 15 laps from halfway as Michael Hossack gets up into the outside wall there. So he's going to fall back under pressure here of Jay Connor and Leighton Norgard. But some of these guys just absolutely pushing it to the limits when maybe they should be thinking about backing that limiter up just a little bit here. Looks like we have a battle brewing between Ethan Burrell and David Tooker. Tooker catching up to the rear end of the Ethan Burrell machine.
And this is about where we were in the first round when we got that yellow. And if I'm Gerald Campbell and Josh Robin, I saved the set. I'm hoping to see a yellow here anytime. And really, it would really force the hands of these leaders.
You're definitely right on that. As we'll take a quick gander up top. Chase Cabery continues to lead ahead of Alex McCollum there in second. That gap about 9/10 of a second. Another 7/10 back to Nick Massey, who has Cole Cabery about 3/10 behind him. Ethan Burrell, another half second back. Then his 2/10 to David Tooker, another 1/10 or so to Tyler Fody. There's Tate Lytle, Matthew Weeks, and Scott Crump all in the top 10. Jesse Racimas just outside, and Seth Rawls is now under fire from Ethan Stanley, but Rawls up 18 spots, continuing to climb through the field. So a great run here so far. I've said it already. I'm going to say it again as he gets into the outside wall, but Seth Rawls is having a good day here so far.
And I know it's a little off topic, but I want to ask you, Gerald, Robert, and all you people watching, go ahead and let us know in the chat where you watch from. Did you get a chance to see the eclipse today at all? And where did all our viewers get a chance to watch the eclipse from today?
So, unfortunately, the view that I had was not facing towards the sun. I was watching it from home, and the condo tower that I live in, I didn't have a chance to get up to the roof to see, which would have been a great view, but I saw the darkness that we had outside, and you could definitely feel the temperature change, Chris, which was really odd, I should say, in the middle of the day, but really cool anyways. And I got to see a couple live streams of it. We had our local news that was broadcasting from basically all over the region, and they had some really great coverage of it. So absolutely phenomenal. Can't wait for the next one in like 150 years or whatever it is. And did you get a chance to see it, Chris? I know you love weather and everything that it has to offer, so I'm sure you found yourself a great spot.
Yeah, right here in my house. I was in the total eclipse portion of it, total darkness. It was so cool to look at there for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, that it was directly covering the sun and the sun was behind it. And it was completely pitch black just about. It was really unique.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, school's in the area here. I don't know about down there, but here they actually canceled school today because the kids would be leaving about the same time as the eclipse was going to be passing over, so they didn't want to take the risk of the kids actually looking at the sun. So the highways, Chris, because there were some areas just outside the city that were in total, or in totality, or the phrase, whatever that one is.
Yeah, I just say total darkness. Like we were in
total
the path
darkness.
of total
Exactly. The path of totality was a little bit outside the city, so the highway was backed up all the way through to the downtown core in both directions. It was absolutely insane how that works here today, but really cool, and I hope everyone got a chance to see it.
Yeah, it was, a lot of people came from all over the, not just the country, but the world to be here in my area and to camp out and to watch it. And there's been a lot of stuff going on all week leading up to this. A lot of the local campgrounds had fireworks and people coming from everywhere. It was a really cool experience, and now I guess all that's gone. But great for the local economy.
Nice to see it once.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it won't happen again, right? Isn't that what you said, like 150 years?
No, I think they said something like 20 years or something until the next one. So we'll get to see it for sure. Well, we hope anyways.
Right now, though, these guys are really starting to lose the handle out here. I'm watching Ethan Burrell running in fifth, and he just got the wall a little bit off of two. He's really starting to slide.
A bit of lap traffic here, Chris, as Kyle Hanshaw going to go a lap down. That held up Chase Cabre a little bit and leads to Alex McCollum being able to close the gap now. Just 0.3 of a second between first and second. That has gone down about 0.8 since last time we checked. And just taking a little look, looks like Gerald's fallen quite a bit here. Vincent Isabella to pit road. We saw him get into the outside wall a handful of times here, Chris. Looked like his right side was a little bit jacked up, so he's going to come down and get that sorted out, see if he can continue on here. But this is quite the battle here. Burrell, Tooker, Fody, and Lytle all together on the racetrack now. They are battling for the 5th position overall.
Lead change about to happen.
McCollum on the inside. That was Cabre up top. Now Cabre going to drop down to the inside. We've seen this before where these drivers have themselves a really solid run, then decide, let's play a little bit, go side by side, swap the lead a couple times, and then pull away from the field again. So I wonder if that's what this is, as Cole Cabre works his way into third as well. There's the speed factor 1, 2, 3 that I expected here tonight, and will likely run away with the rest of this race here today, as we are about 4 laps away from that point where we can hand out the lead bonus for one of these speed factor cars.
And I'll tell you this, too. Gerald Campbell's hoping for a caution right now. He is about to get lapped. He's not far out there in front of that leader. Saving that set of tires, if it's going to work out, he is going to need to see... It's Barney right up in the flag stand. He's going to need to see Barney get to work.
Yeah, that's right. Barney is the flagger. Fred is the pace car driver. So don't mix up your Flintstones here. As we have a battle for second, also for the top Cabri position, as Cole works his way up to second. Chase going to fall back to third. They still have about an 0.8 of a second gap ahead of Nick Massey, who's done a really nice job being the best of the rest here so far today. And he's been consistently good all season long, is Nick Massey here, Chris, in that 48 Patagonia machine for Lake Norman Motorsports. And just, he's hoping he can get up there at some point, battle for the race lead, as Gerald Campbell takes to pit lane in the 00 Simply Racing podcast.
I like that move for Gerald. You've made this
I don't know.
play. It didn't work. I think
he has to do it. I think he has to do it. End of this lap, by the way, will be the halfway bonus. It's likely to go to Alex McCullum here, as he has nearly a 1 second lead over Cole Cabri at this point.
Yeah, and Chase is falling back, huh? You think Chase used his stuff up?
No. I think he's just playing a little bit. We've seen that with these guys before, like I said, where they just come out here and this is kind of their sandbox, right? They can come down, play with the guys in Elite here, run away with some of these races, and really just do what they want to do to control the way so far, and that's what they've done. As you see Tyler Fody work his way up to 7th, David Tooker in that 6th spot, Ethan Burrell in 5th. That's your battle for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, as Tate Lytle is the car bringing up the rear in that fight.
Yeah, and Tate's trying to move his way forward right there with Fody. Kind of a quiet night for Fody.
Quiet night for Fody, but he is running 4th of the rest of the field here so far. So not a bad run indeed, as Tate Lytle as well. I mean, he's 8th overall, but 5th, we'll say 5th in class. As I put those speed factor guys in a totally different class than the rest of the field right now, with just how quick they've been here in Elite. So Nick Massey is leading the way, Chris.
He's leading the way.
Leading the way in the best of the rest and the Class 2 field, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I think he wants to lead the way overall.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough, indeed. But we'll see what Nick Massey can do here. These guys continuing to battle it out. John Cutlip side by side with Hunter Smith. They're going to make a little bit of contact here as they work their way. I believe that's through turns 3 and 4. Cutlip going to slide up into Hunter Smith once again. Actually, that was turns 1 and 2 as they work their way down the back straight. Now Cutlip going to lose a couple spots. Jay Connor going to full send it into the outside wall. He's going to drop back to that 16th spot, as luckily he's able to release from the wall and continue on.
He continues on. Here's Matthew Weeks looking underneath him here. I have to think green flag pit stops are about to start too. I don't know if it's going to be monkey see, monkey do or not, but we saw William Byron execute pit road and win the race yesterday, so I think somebody's going to try to get to pit road first.
It's definitely going to be interesting as we watch the battle here between Weeks and Lytle towards the tail end of the top 10. Chris, do you think that the quicker division of Speed Factor influences the pit strategy of the rest of the field at all here tonight?
What was your question there? I was getting talked to there.
I said, do you think the quicker division, aka the Speed Factor entries, influence the pit strategy of the rest of the field here tonight, or are they going to basically strategize amongst themselves? As, by the way, Gerald Campbell working his way now through the field much quicker than the guys he's going by, as of course he is on fresh tires.
I think I don't think they're going to be the first ones to plank. I think somebody behind them is going to be the first ones to come. I think they're going to react. They've got the lead.
It'll definitely be interesting. Of course, McCollum, Cole Cabre, and Chase Cabre, the top three. Then it's Nick Massey in fourth. Ethan Burrell, fifth, just ahead of David Tooker. So this battle amongst these drivers getting pretty close, just behind that fifth place car of Ethan Burrell.
Yeah, and you see Gerald Campbell moving through these guys on his newer tires. We've just crossed over that threshold of pitting here, like where we're going to see inside of 50 to go. We'll have to see if anybody comes
Robbins
this time.
on pit road. Johnny Thomas has been on pit road as well. We'll see if anyone else opts to come to pit road, and you knew it was coming already, as Nick Massey now comes down from position number 4.
I had no clue that Nick Massey was coming.
I think you knew. The way you dropped that hint, Chris, and the fact you do have direct ears from Nick Massey makes me think that you knew.
I can't confirm or deny that he was asking for my input on what I thought about different strategies.
As we watch a battle here between David Tooker and Tyler Fode. Fode looks to the inside of the 19 of David Tooker as they battle their way up towards Ethan Burrell, who currently now holds position number 4, about 2 seconds back of that top 3. Tooker drops down ahead of Fode. Fode down ahead of Weeks. They have a little bit of a gap back to Tate Lytle, a larger gap back to Scott Crump, and an even larger gap of about 5 seconds back to 10th place Jesse Racimus.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if anybody reacts to Nick coming here. I think some guys will. I don't know if the front 3 will, but I think some guys are going to react to Nick coming to pit road.
Watching that battle between Tooker and Fode through the roof cam here of the Matthew Weeks number 11 JV Designs entry for Pro Edge Racing. Great side-by-side here between these guys. Nearly going wheel to wheel as well. Nearly door to doors. Here comes Josh Robin on fresher tires. Let's actually do a lap around with a fresh tire entry of Josh Robin. See how tough it is in comparison to some of these slower drivers. I say slower drivers, but that's just due to the fact that they are on old tires as Robin clears Fode and Tooker. Going to set his sights now on Ethan Burrell. We'll see how quick he's able to get by him as Kyle Hanshaw does come down and now exits pit lane. You can see him there on the bottom.
Yeah, and there's Hanshaw letting him go. Eventually, I think once a year, he's going to be right where this car's at. He drives his Talladega car every week. Once a year, he'll get Talladega right?
Yeah. Eventually, we'll get to Talladega. I think we go there in the playoffs. As Robin quickly approaches the rear end of Chase Cabre, nearly gets into the back of him, nearly gets into the outside wall. He will actually touch the outside wall here as he slides on through. This is an absolute ride here with Josh Robin. He's actually going to catch a pack up towards the front, which is Alex McCollum. Oh gosh, this is going to be scary. Alex McCollum, Cole Cabre, and Chad Frankenfield together as Frankenfield going to go a lap down here. Frankenfield, he's battling hard though, not letting these guys go. Of course, still on older tires, only pit on lap number 20, much like the rest of these guys. Here comes Josh Robin down to the inside of Alex McCollum as well. He's going to send it there. There's Chad Frankenfield still holding steady. Are they going to give him the bumper to move him out of the way if he doesn't just get up out of there?
I don't think they'll give him the bumper.
They may. As Kyle Hanshaw battles back on the inside, of course, he just had his pit stop. See if he can clear ahead of the race leaders. He won't be able to this time as McCollum battles back on the high side. Cole Cabre just behind as they continue to try to find a way around that number 15 Chad Frankenfield machine. More lap traffic coming into play. There's Johnny Thomas in the number 91 Belly Up Sports entry, looking for an opportunity to get by. This actually looks like we had a battle. Here it is. Ethan Burrell, Tyler Fode side by side as Seth Rawls come. Oh no!
I think it's just pitting.
No, he did more than pitting. Take a look at this, Chris. Seth Rawls coming down pit lane. I don't know if he was looking at a button or something for a second here, but he's gonna kiss the tire barriers.
Oh, that is not the kind of kiss you want to have.
No, absolutely not. As Alex McCollum finally able to clear Mr. Chad Frankenfield. Here comes Nick Massey and Chase Cabrey as well. Massey, of course, they lap down due to that pit stop that he made. Ethan Stanley comes to stop in his box. There's Seth Rawls working his way down pit lane. Likely did have to fix a little bit of damage, but we'll save that for eventually a caution that these drivers are hoping for as Massey continues his charge forward. Let's continue to watch this battle that has kind of dissipated a little bit. Fode and Weeks able to clear by Ethan Burrell, David Tooker, and Tate Lytle. As actually it looks like Weeks closing that gap on Fode just a little bit here. Less than 40 laps to go now, Chris. 38 remaining, 37 at the line this time. A little bit of shade coming over the racetrack. Is it time for the eclipse here? But no, it's time for the leader to come down. That's Alex McCollum gonna hit pit lane. Make sure he comes down to pit road speed. Well, that's in kilometers, so that's not helpful at all. We'll see if we can get that fixed up, Chris.
It's all good. It's going to be a speeding penalty or not, right? Doesn't matter what it is, and everybody looks clear so far.
There you go. I'm guessing pit road speed's 45?
Yes, I believe so.
Ooh. He did tick up to about 50 there just before getting into his box. Speaking of box, here comes Cole. Here comes Chase. It's time for the family reunion on pit lane. All the speed factor cars going to come down, so a team strategy there. Hands the lead over to Tyler Fode with Matthew Weeks, Ethan Burrell, David Tooker, and Tate Lytle, the top five. Scott Crump, Jesse Racimus, Hunter Smith, John Cutlip, and Michael Hosick going to round out the top 10 here as they run, of course, in the middle of this pit cycle. And here's a battle for the race lead as I believe Ethan Burrell and Tate Lytle gonna come down pit lane. David Tooker gonna come down as well. Very late drop down to get to pit lane. And he is going to get down to pace speed, so he is A-OK. There is Burrell, there's Lytle, Jeff Ryan, Ty McIntosh, and Rory Collins on pit lane, as well as Fode, Weeks, Crump, Racimus, Smith, Cutlip, and Hosick continue to lead the way. Drivers that have not come down pit road include all of those drivers I just named, and Chad Frankenfield, who is currently scored in the 9th position, just now getting his lap back with those drivers coming down pit lane. McCollum exits in the 10th spot ahead of Cole Cabrey and Chase Cabrey, and David Tooker gonna win the battle amongst those drivers that have just pit, as you do see Tyler Fode, Weeks, and David Carpenter all within the shot here, as Carpenter, of course, has come down pit road, currently scored in position number 25, and a lap down at this point. Michael Hosick and Jesse Racimus, the next cars to come down.
Yeah, we're down to just about 6 guys left, right? That haven't pitted?
5. So Fode, Weeks, Crump, and Smith, so the top 4 on the racetrack. And then 8th place Chad Frankenfield, who is already behind Nick Massey, who has come down pit road a little bit earlier on. And you see Frankenfield right there just ahead of the leaders. Some damage to the right front of that machine. As, was that McCollum in the wall? Yes, it was. Alex McCollum got into the outside wall. Just a slight kiss there for Bubba Driver. Oh, Frankenfield gonna block. Ballsy moves there by Frankenfield.
Chad's not gonna get out of the way, is he?
No, as Fode and Weeks still gonna come up there. We'll see if Chad blocks them. 32 laps remain. Pit stop still remains as well. Hunter Smith comes down pit road. That was your 4th place car. So the only drivers left to pit here: 1st place Tyler Fode, 2nd place Matthew Weeks, 3rd place Scott Crump, and 7th place Chad Frankenfield, who has already been passed for position by Alex McCullum and is about to get passed for position by Cole and likely Chase Caber here momentarily, as Fode up to the rear end bumper of the Chad Frankenfield machine. Don't know why Chad's staying out here at this point, Chris. Maybe just hoping for a yellow, but he has absolutely shot himself in the foot at this point and will likely... No! Frankenfield and Fode together! Wow. That 15 car has been a menace to the leaders here tonight.
Well, and now he's trying to stay. He's back in front of the leader. He's trying to stay on the lead lap. He knows if these pit stops go through,
he might get sent here. Honestly, he may get sent by the 40 car for really holding him back here, because this will impact the strategy that the drivers such as Fode and Weeks have in play here right now. Frankenfield again coming into play here for Fode. Fode gonna get up to the rear bumper of that machine. Let's actually jump on board here with Tyler Fode, just see if he's got anything for Chad. Gonna dive down to the inside now. Frankenfield gonna pinch down as Tooker comes by. Fode gonna force Frankenfield up a little bit. Here comes Burrell, gonna go by. I would not be pleased, honestly, if I was the likes of Tyler Fode and company up here.
Yeah, that's... I get trying to stay on the lead lap, but at this point, what are you doing?
You're being a real pain in the rear end of these leaders. I think he just got the wall ahead of Fode as well. We'll see if Fode's able to get by this time. No, because Frankenfield continues to charge back on the high side. You know how this is going to end if Frankenfield does not give the extra space. Weeks decides to get out of the way. Frankenfield blinks well side by side with Fode, so Fode probably not pleased with that either. As here comes Frankenfield charging back again, makes contact with Fode, makes contact with the wall. I don't know why he is driving like this right now, as he is a lap down. That's just unacceptable by a lapped car. We'll see if Frankenfield comes to pit road this time. He really has nothing left in him. As Fode comes down, I believe Chad's going to stay out. So Fode comes down. The only car not to pit yet, Chris, is Chad Frankenfield. Last pit on lap 21, as we're now on lap number 85. He has scored in the 10th position as Scott Crump takes over the race lead. Actually, he's another one not to pit, but he actually does have some pace and is currently the race leader. And guess what? He's going to deal with the 15. I don't think he's going to be as nice if that comes into play this time. You know these guys have history, Chris.
Yeah, you know, Scott, but Scott's going to have to pit here pretty quick. So is Chad. Chad can't go very much further either.
No, but still, just the rivalry these guys have had for years, honestly, is something that is just going to come into play naturally throughout a race. And if Chad, as a lap car, does any sort of blocking on Scott, Scott's not going to put up with it. Crump goes to the inside. Frankenfield up top. We'll see if Crump's able to clear this time. Frankenfield into the outside wall, trying to stay alongside Crump. Is Crump going to be able to clear him here and still hold on to the race lead by about 6 seconds over Nick Massey? Here comes Jesse Racimus to the inside of Chad. Well, Chris, let's take a quick commercial break because we don't have much time left in this race. 24 to go in the Darlington 150 of the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series, the penultimate round of the regular season. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere as Crump comes to pit lane.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now. For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. Racing, music, camping, it all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And we are back here at Darlington, folks. We are under caution for the second time here tonight. Let's take a look at what just happened. Looks like it involves Gerald Campbell and Hunter Smith. 0-0 of Campbell. You see Smith just behind him. Ooh, we got to get another look at this one. I don't know if Gerald just lost it or if Hunter gets into the left or the right rear of that machine. Take a look here once again. So tough to see from that angle, Chris. But I think Hunter gets into the back of Gerald. Let's take a look again from an even higher look. Hunter Smith coming up very quickly on Gerald. Yeah, he's just going to get into the right rear of the Campbell machine and send him around. That's going to bring out the... Oh, Johnny Thomas with a huge impact in that one. I didn't even see that, but Johnny Thomas going to get collected as well. Gerald Campbell, Hunter Smith, Johnny Thomas, the victims of the latest caution here today. As we take a look back down on the racetrack here. Well, we'll try to anyways.
The one thing that was interesting here is the strategy that was played. We saw Nick Massey short pit. He jumped the track position. He is the first car on tires. Matthew Weeks has stayed out, so he still has a set laying in the pits. He's got about 5 laps on his tires.
So we'll see how this works out. The field as they run right now, Chris, Matthew Weeks in first, Nick Massey to his outside. Then it's Ethan Burrell with Alex McCullum up top. Cole and Chase Cabry make up row number 3 together here. David Tooker and Tate Lytle in row 4. Then it's Jesse Racimus and Jay Connor rounding out the top 5. Lights are off on the pace car already. We're going to get set to go green with about 20 to go. 19 actually when we do go green. So great pace tonight by these drivers nonetheless, but going to be very interesting to see if the likes of Week and Massey are able to hold off the very fast speed factor cars that are just behind them here, or if Alex McCullum's just going to be able to make pretty quick work. I think it's going to be tough for McCullum to get by right away, just because the fact these guys are too wide, but can't count out 3 wide coming into play as the pace car's off. We're going to get set to go green. Weeks on the inside. Massey up top as Let's Go Racing once again heading for the Geico restart zone. And Weeks just about to get there. There he is, and we are green. So Cole Cabry is the car that's able to clear ahead of his teammates. Alex McCullum and Chase Cabry can actually fall back a little bit as Cole works his way to third. Burrell up to second with Weeks leading the way. Nick Massey falls back to fourth, which was a bit surprising here as David Tooker has a little bit of pressure on the inside. Just a quick note, Tyler Fody appears to have fallen out of this race, Chris Wright.
Fallen out?
Yeah, he just blinked for a moment there, but now scored back in 17th. So a huge loss by Tyler Fody. Not sure what happened to him. Maybe just due to getting caught off with the pit strategy. I think that's likely what the issue was, but all the way back in 17th and was briefly off of the timing and scoring.
Yeah, I know he got trapped there with the way the caution fell because he stayed out for so long. So I'm not sure about the blink, obviously.
Tate Lytle all over the rear end of Chase Cabry. That's the battle for 7th on the racetrack. Looks like Cabry has a bit of an advantage here. As Weeks about to be under fire from Ethan Burrell. Burrell about a 10th and a half back from him. We'll see if that 37 RaceCPI.com car is able to get up there and duke it out with the JV Designs. Number 11, of course, Pro Edge Racing teammates in this series. Quick time on the day. Last time by the first driver to dip into the 29-second range here, Chris, is Alex McCullum, the speed factor 31. Like I said, the only driver to go sub 30 seconds here this afternoon. As actually, I totally lied on that. We have a couple other drivers now that have been in the 29s with Matthew Weeks, Ethan Burrell, and we have a caution that I believe, oh no, Leighton Norgard gonna go around the 12 car. Let's see what just happened to him to bring out the latest caution. He's gonna tow it back to pit lane. See if we're able to get a read on this one. We're having issues with the cautions moments ago. I'm gonna have to manually back this one up to see what happened to a Leighton.
Well, I think a Leighton was trying to do a full send there.
Watching the 12. Goes to the inside of Seth Rawls. Side by side entering the corner. Ooh. And he is going to get hooked into the outside wall there by that 25 car. Let's see if we can get a higher angle of this incident. Watching the 12 of Norgard heading through the corner. Rawls on the high side. Rawls comes down a little bit. Norgard goes up a little bit. That one, if the first incident tonight was a racing deal, I would definitely say that one was as well.
Well, I think the difference is the 12 was a half a car length back when they got to the corner, and he just full sent it into the corner.
Again, your call, Chris, but the earlier incident, I would say there was a lot more movement by the car on the high side. Definitely came down a lot further. So for some reason, we're having issues with our replay graphic here today, but we are okay. Third caution, 13 to go.
But nonetheless, we are going to rule it a racing.
Rory Collins going to get the wave around here. As Stanley, Fody, Ryan, Campbell, Carpenter, Frankenfield, Rawls on pit road. Of course, drivers also on pit road include Leighton Norgard, Johnny Thomas, Hunter Smith, Vincent Isabella, Jaden Racimus, Tommy Ryan, Gavin Hibbs, and Connor Thompson at this point. All those drivers with issues earlier on tonight. We're going to step away one more time. We'll be right back for the conclusion of the Darlington 150. Don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now. For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. Racing, music, camping, it all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
We are back here at Darlington. Matthew Weeks continues to lead the way. That commercial break dedicated to Ryan Gavel. I know he enjoys commercial breaks and likes to complain about them. So we are back on our way here. Chris, Weeks, Burrell, Massey, Cole Cambry, Alex McCollum, the top five. David Tooker, Chase Cambry, Tate Lytle, Jesse Mercedes, and John Cutlip, the top 10 as we prepare to go green once again.
Yeah, and Weeks has picked the top. Going to put his teammate on the bottom. That's going to box the 98 in the non-leader lane. So they're definitely, you mentioned how they, were working against those guys, and those guys were the guys to beat. It looks like there is a effort to not let them boys get back to the front.
We'll see how this one goes as we do get back under green. Weeks gets on the loud pedal with his teammate Burrell on the inside. Burrell going to be under fire already by both Cole Cambry and Nick Massey. As Cambry and McCollum going to work to the inside. We'll see if they're able to get up to Ethan Burrell and work their way by that machine. Contact between McCollum and Massey there. A little bit of door slamming by the 31 and the 48. Is Cambry going to send it to the outside? Both of the speed factor cars, Cole Cambry and Alex McCollum, into the outside wall due to the full sendage that they just had there. No postage, of course. Massey getting a little bit sideways right there, Chris.
Yeah, I can tell you, Nick probably took exception to the tomfoolery that just took place down there.
Well, I don't know which one Tom is and why he's a fool, but no room for that here in the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. Shout out to Mark Rebilas and RebilasPhoto.com for all your photography needs. Of course, shout out Blue Egg Marketing as well. Blue Egg, the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan as we continue under the green flag here. Weeks, Burrell, Cambry, McCollum, Massey, the top five.
Weeks still holding on these fresh tires. Every heat cycle probably makes them a little closer. It's not going to be quite like it was when it was 5 straight up laps. And the teammate's going to let each other go here. One must not think he can get up there and challenge for this win.
We'll see how that develops. Of course, you were mentioning McCollum and Cole Cambry battling there. Jesse Mercedes going to get up into the outside wall. Tate Lytle there as well.
I'm going to tell you what, on equal tires with 7 to go, I am not letting my teammate go. No way, dude.
Would you let me go, Chris? Probably not.
No, if we're on equal tires, no, I'm not letting anybody go with 7 to go. Especially up in the top 5 where a restart is going to put me third, or you know what I mean? There's no way I'm doing that for anybody. And I wouldn't expect anybody to do that for me. Now, if you're on fresher tires and, that's one thing, but they're equaled out on tires.
Side by side for second. McCollum with a slider on Burrell, makes contact. Again, the slide job's coming into play from these speed factor cars, Chris. If you're up there and that happens to you, and of course in this case makes contact with Burrell, what's your mindset? I don't think Burrell liked that. He just gave a slam there to the driver's side door of Alex McCollum.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of getting bodied and used up here. No waves, no, yeah. would not be a fan.
As Cole Cabry going to get by Ethan Burrell's well here. Burrell should do one of those full sends. See what the reaction is as we are 4 to go here. It's Weeks, McCollum, and Cabry, the top 3. That's Cole Cabry. The other Cabry, Chase, is back in 7th between David Tooker and Scott Crump. But Weeks continues to lead the charge here. Oh,
Tooker gets into the back of Massey.
Massey into the wall. Saves it.
Wow.
Impressive. But here comes Crump. Here comes Tyler Fody to the inside. 3 to go. Fody stuck down on the apron. There's Josh Robin. First time I've seen him up towards the front on a non-play track in a while. Good to see. Good to see. Of course, was trapped a little bit earlier too.
If they get up there and they do
Like
that
that?
stuff to Weeks.
Oh, it ain't going to go over well.
Yeah. Weeks will crash himself to make sure they don't
I know
win
that,
if
and
they're
you
gonna
know
fight
that.
him.
Let's be real about this. If McCollum does a slider on Matthew Weeks,
This is a
boxing gloves are going to come out. Oh, yeah.
Weeks is one of
Weeks
the-
can quickly turn into Rocky Balboa out there on the
Yeah.
racetrack. As here comes McCollum, going to get all over the rear end of Matthew Weeks. Maybe get up there, give him a send, makes a little bit of contact. We're going to have to go to the chopper cam here just to keep an eye on this as these drivers continue to duke it out. You see right there, white flag displayed. Weeks, McCollum, Cole Cabry, the top 3. If a full send comes into play, expect a full right hook to come into play as well. As McCollum going to take a look to the outside, now the inside of Weeks. Does Weeks come down and give him Weeks gets turned. Oh, that's not going to go well. McCollum gets hooked as well. Here comes Cole Cabry. Chase Cabry gets hooked off of Ethan Burrell. It's going to be Cole Cabry victorious here at Darlington ahead of Nick Massey and Tyler Fody. And get the ring ready because there's going to be some fights in the pits here tonight. Wow. Let's take another look back at this one. Matthew Weeks not going to be pleased whatsoever. Of course, the replay going to act up now. Let's back this one up manually. Take another peek at what just happened to Matthew Weeks.
Wow. Tooker went in there hard. Crump went in there hard. Lots of guys went in there hard.
Watching this here, it is Matthew Weeks ahead of Alex McCollum. McCollum going to close that gap on him. Take a look to the inside. They're going to make a little bit of contact here. That's just a hook. He hooked him.
Yeah, 31 just came off the
Wow.
track, you know.
Fody gets a huge bit of damage as well, but able to continue on. Chase Cabry, a big one involved in that one as well. But we're going to step away real quick. When we come back, we'll talk to the top 3 podium finishers after what was an eventful finish to this one. We'll be right back. Yes, Gavel, we're taking a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now. For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. Racing, music, camping, it all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And we are back here at Darlington. Not sure what's going on with our overlay, but Chris Wright now standing by with our third place finisher, Tyler Fody.
Yeah, I'm standing here with Tyler, and it was looking like it was going to be a tough race out there tonight. You had a tough race, stayed out maybe a little bit. All right, I am standing here with Tyler Fody. Tyler, it was a difficult race for you tonight. Stayed out a little bit too long there on the green flag cycle. Got yourself trapped when the caution came out. And then on the last lap, down in the 3, I'm not sure where you were running, but you came out the other side third. So talk to us about your night and all the stuff you had to overcome there in the last lap.
Yeah, that was wild. I didn't think I was having that bad of a night. It was kind of hard to pass. And I was like 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that on that long run, just kind of trapped. But the long run felt really good. And I was starting to make up some time. And those guys were going way too early, I thought, with how severe the fall off was. I was trying to be near like one of the last guys to pit. So I still felt really good about if this went green to the end on having a shot, at least for a top 3, top 5 at the end. And Chad being Chad, just driving me like he was pretty fun. So not really. But Weeks was the guy I was really worried about because he was going to be playing the same game that I was on who could go the longest. And I just saw him really the lap I was thinking of going. He ducked in. So it was kind of like, oh, man. So I went an extra lap, which ended up being just one lap too long because I was literally unlapping myself when that yellow finally came out. So it gave me the lucky dog, and I had to go all the way to the back. I would have been right there with Weeks on the front row, which would have been pretty cool to battle it out, but had to go to the back. So I put new tires on and was really cutting through the field that last 10-lap run. I was up to 9th, maybe 8th, going into that last corner, and just saw smoke and put it like 4 lanes down to the bottom. And I passed I don't know how many cars, but we ended up out the other side with teammate Nick in 2nd and teammate Robin behind me in 4th. So that was pretty cool. This is where I thought I should have been, roughly 3rd to 5th, I think. Don't really know how the strategy would have played out, but happy to at least have gotten back to where I wanted to at the end.
Yeah, and like you said, you got the good finish, so that's all that matters. Keep padding on those points. Not that you need them. So why don't you take a minute here? Any shout outs you want to give? Any sponsors you want to thank before we let you jump out of here and celebrate your podium there with teammate Nick?
Yeah, the Lake Norman guys, we were kind of all over the place, honestly, with the strategy. I don't really know where anyone was really running. I know Nick was probably the best of all of us, most consistent at least. He was always seemed like up front. So happy to see him come home 2nd. And then big shout out to Robin for getting through that for 4th, and Stanley repairing his car to get to 7th. Really the only casualty, unfortunately, was Scott right at the end there. Didn't deserve that, but always fun running with those guys. And shout out to JD Designs for painting all of our cars. Jonathan Cutlip does a great job. And then you guys up here for putting on the show. It's going to be pretty fun to watch this one back, especially those last couple laps.
Well, all right. Congrats on the run there, Tyler Fody, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday out on the track at Rockingham, and then again next week here in the Xfinity Series. Or excuse me, the Rebilas Photography Series.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That was Tyler Fody, your third place finisher, now joined by Nick Massey. Nick, congratulations on the second place finish here tonight. Walk us through your race, and do you think you had anything for Cole Cabrey in the 98?
Yeah, it's a solid night overall. I felt like I had pretty good long run speed there. Pretty much hung out in the top 5 for the most of the night there. And then kind of played that tire strategy about lap 70 or so, or 60 or so, short pitting these guys and try to get a jump on them. And then kind of caught that caution at the right time. I was able to come down and take a set of tires, the last set of tires there. Just had to do a better job at those last couple of restarts. I was the lone Lake Norman car up there with a bunch of teammates around me, so I was a lone wolf there for a little bit. But yeah, all in all, solid night. Was able to miss that wreck at the end and bring that home P2.
Definitely a solid P2 there, and the chaos at the end. How did you get through that without getting caught up?
I have no idea. I thought I was going to be in it because you're just kind of guessing where these guys are going to go, and I might have got a little bit of it, but I was able to get through enough to bring it home P2. But yeah, it was tough for kind of you're racing for position back there and trying to check up, but then you also got cars wrecking in front of you trying to get through that. So it's kind of like, trying to keep your spots, but also trying to get through the wreck. So definitely chaos for sure. I kind of was anticipating something was going to happen because they were all packed up there for the top 4 or so. So I was hoping something was going to happen just selfishly to get some more spots out of it. And luckily it did, and I was able to make my way through it.
We definitely saw a lot of rough driving, aggression, dive bombs, and slide jobs there at the end, which led to that chaos. But Nick, looking ahead to Daytona, what's your outlook for that one? Do you think you can get up there and snag a victory to end the regular season?
I hope so. I'm not sure where this puts me in points here, but I think I'm going to be close to the cutoff. I think I'm probably just going to be in right now going into Daytona, so might have to do some points racing at next week, unfortunately, which is going to be kind of crazy. But yeah, looking forward to it. I've won the Daytona 500, so I won a couple of races there. So hopefully we're able to keep out of trouble next week. But definitely congrats to Cole. He was fast all night long, and got a teammate up here, Tyler Fody, able to bring home P3. So all in all, good night. Looking forward to next week. Nick,
before we let you go, any shout outs you want to give, sponsors you want to thank?
Shout out to all the Lake Norman guys, Tyler, Scott, Josh Robin, Ethan Stanley, all those guys. I kind of joined practice a little late, and they were going to give me what they were running and kind of help me out a little bit, point me in the right direction, because this thing was a handful tonight. I don't know if you guys could tell. But, yeah, shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. And shout out UConn Huskies. Let's go. Let's get this thing done tonight.
All right, Nick, congratulations on second place here tonight, and we'll see you at Daytona.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
That was Nick Massey. Now Chris Wright is standing by with our race winner, Cole Cabrey.
Yeah, I am joined by Cole here in the victory lane right now. Celebration going on, even though his teammates over there got a line of guys waiting to have a chat with him. But Cole, take us through your night. We saw you, I believe, lift and let your teammate go there with about 5 to go, and then you ended up winning the race. So did you know that was going to happen?
I did not. I just know he was a lot faster than I was, even in qualifying. I didn't have a lot of raw speed. I had a lot of speed, towards the end of a run. And then, I saw my teammate come in, so I let him go. And it's a sucky way to win. And, I hate it for, the gentleman that got turned right there. But, I mean, there's nothing. It's out of my control, It's just, it is what it is. And all we can do is move on, go to the next one. But glad to walk away with my debut win.
Well, first of all, I don't believe it's your job to apologize for something a teammate did. It's just a teammate. It's not like you're driving his car. Second, talk to me about your race tonight and how you managed to find yourself in position to win that thing when everything came undone there in the last corner.
Yeah, it was super sick. The car and track combo was super fun. We had that long green flag run, and like I said, tires wore really fast, and you got to keep the big thing was I thought it was going to be keeping the right front on it, and it ended up being the right rear burned a lot, faster. You had get a lot of drive off the corner, and even getting into one, the right rear helped a lot. So it was really fun. It was Tetris, and then green flag pit stops was sick. Just being this first time in a Xfinity race, I was just or Xfinity series, I was trying to, just test the waters and see how everyone raced. Didn't want to overstep And, I just ended up being at the right place, right time, kind of like last night, and walked away with the win.
Well, all right, Cole, before we let you get out of here and celebrate with your team there and winning at Darlington, no easy task there to win at Darlington. Are there any sponsors you want to thank, shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, definitely. Speed Factor, we run good. Mistakes are made, and you guys for putting on, Chad for letting me run the Xfinity Series, and just excited for next week and see what we can do.
All right, that is Cole there, the winner tonight, and we'll see what happens next week as get ready to move on to next week, and we'll see if all these fires can be put out before then.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, Chris, final thoughts from you before we send it off here tonight from Darlington.
Well, it was an exciting race. We got to see some green flag stops, got to see some strategy, some comers and goers there in the long run. I think the setup was a little bit too free for guys to be able to really make passes like they wanted to, but when you put these guys out here in a tough car to drive, you could definitely tell that they were driving, they weren't just driving around there willy-nilly and running easy. It was a tough night for a lot of guys, and we got a finish. We got a finish. That's all I can say. We'll see if, like I said, these fires can be put out before the end of next week, but there are some upset drivers, some upset guys who got involved in that, not just the winner getting wrecked out there, but guys lost a lot of valuable points here as we're getting ready to wind down towards the end here and towards the playoffs here. So have to see if all that can be squared away by next week. If not, I guess we can look forward to some fireworks and see what happens moving forward.
We'll definitely see how next week goes. Off to Daytona next Tuesday night for the regular season finale. We hope to see you all there. Have a good night, everybody.